No matter how old classic Doom gets, it will forever be timeless due to its remarkable game design. Doom perfected what a first-person shooter should play like back in the early days of the genre, and even to this day, it is a game that still stands the test of time. There's a real reason why today's indie gaming scene are absolutely obsessed at making old-school Doom clones and adapting all its core design. They're trying to replicate that same magic that the original id Software has done back in the early 90s. On top of that, it is known for having a dedicated and passionate fan base that continues pushing the game that the original id Software has left off for future projects like Quake. There's no doubt that the community throughout the years has made tons of add-ons, where the old Doom games will always be replayable no matter what year you play it in. It's also cool to see that Bethesda ports are showing love towards that community too. Now, in the world of Doom 2016, as you can see in the videos, there are fans that want to pay tribute to the old games they grew up on. If you've played a decent amount of Doom WODs, you do know the community definitely has an obsession of trying to outdo the official maps that were made by the original team. This could mean by making the levels harder, making them bigger, more complex, more visually detailed, etc. Doom SnapMappers are also on the same board of classic Doom map makers when it comes to that design philosophy. However, there are more limitations that modern Doom map makers have to deal with compared to making a classic Doom and Doom Builder. It is true that Doom 2016 map makers will never be able to come close to the flexibility of those who are making levels on Doom Builder. But does that mean one cannot make a decent classic Doom styled snap map for Doom 2016? The answer is hell no. Here's a map I'd like to talk about. It has always been one of my personal favorite classic Doom style snap maps, and it absolutely replicates what makes the old games so fun, but at the same time pushing some of the creative boundaries within Doom SnapMap. The map is called Bad's Classic Stage 10. Yes, it is a map from a classic Doom SnapMap campaign, and this is one of the 15 levels that you can play from it. It's made by a mapper I'm well familiar with, and his name is Bad Fluppy. This map is easily the best one from the campaign due to how much it relies on great game design from start to finish, and it also has some interesting snap map trickery that if you are still making levels for this game, you'll learn something. What makes this particular level so great is quite a bit of things, but we definitely have to appreciate some of its visual design, which I still remember the first time I played this level. It already gave me a good first impression. There are a lot of great detailed areas that I'm sure even the most die-hard classic Doom WOD enjoyer could still appreciate some of these areas, and personally, it might be one of the most visually detailed maps within the campaign. But most importantly, the level is a blast, and it is not a shy level when it comes to throwing hordes of demons at you. Get ready for some fairly sweaty fights and some unsuspecting traps. The map is mostly a hell-themed level, so that's pretty much what you will be getting when playing this level from start to finish. If you played enough classic Doom levels, you will understand how the gameplay loop goes, so I'm not going to go explain that in detail. But overall, this map is a nice tribute to the classic games, and the author certainly understands what makes the old games so fun to play. Now I want to talk about some of the interesting trickery that this map has to offer. First and foremost, I absolutely loved how the author decided to change the color of the textures to be darker than normal to basically replicate the shadows from the old games. This is definitely a nice way to be able to implement shadows within the old levels because it is a difficult process when using the classic themed rooms. Another cool thing about this map is the way he makes those floor ledges, which you can tell Fluppy really wanted to make sure they were aligned properly so it doesn't look so boxy. This sort of feature is fairly common when it comes to the mapping experience of the old Doom games, and it was cool to see it make its way towards SnapMap. And I also thought adding the box trigger to create some sort of lighting effect was a neat trick too. The level is not the longest level, but it's also not the shortest. It's basically at that sweet spot, so it's pretty much a medium length level. Since I did mention this level is from the campaign, how does this campaign play overall, and is it worth playing if you're a fan of both the old and new Doom games? The answer is yes, it's totally worth playing all these 15 levels. There are some levels that are almost on the same quality as this one, but the main reason why I would recommend players to play this campaign is because it's just a lot of fun to play and there's a lot of neat custom geometry. This entire campaign feels like it was made for both fans of old and new Doom and respecting the core design of the old games. Just like your typical Doom WODs, there will be a variety of different locations you'll be fighting in, and of course, there's quite a bit of puzzle solving, so make sure you explore and make sure you pay attention to where you're going. Unfortunately, the campaign does feel rather unfinished because the final level will make you feel like the author wanted to make more maps, but it seemed like he stopped making them for unknown reasons. Despite the limitations that Doom SnapMappers have to go through, that doesn't stop map makers from making quality levels like this one. It's possible to still make good content if you got the game design skills, and that's why the old Doom games are so great. There's definitely a gap of what we can do with games from the future compared to the early 90s, but the main reason why the old Dooms are still going strong is because of its great game design. That is why this map is great, because it emphasizes good game design first, and sometimes that's enough to make a map truly remarkable. Also, this map had no modded content or any of the community updates, but it is still a level that can easily hold its own against those maps. Because at the end of the day, the best Doom stat maps are made by Doom fans that knows what makes the Doom games so great to play. The ones that aren't made by them are the ones you should just avoid playing. Thank you for watching this episode of Exploring Doom SnapMap, and stay tuned for more if there is a map that's worthy enough for this type of content.